Hello and welcome to another episode of the Football Management Retro series where we look back at classic 1980s, late 1980s to early 1990s games. Now, today is a bit of a special episode because we're looking back at a game which is still actually current at the moment in a different disguise. So, the game is Managersim, which is a online browser game which you can play on any computer. Its graphical settings are pretty low, so you don't need a heavy graphics card to play this game. And I've been playing this game for many, many, many years now. I played it in its first disguise when it first came out in the early 2000s. It was then called Soccer Sim, and it's now called Manager Sim. And it's basically a retro browser football management game, which looks very similar to some of the Spectrum games which we've been going through the last couple of episodes, and it's very enjoyable. It's in its current disguise, as I say, as Manager Sim, and it came back live in around 2015. Soccer Sim was around in 2003 to 2005, and that carried on for a number of years. And then a guy called Burnham brought the game back in 2015, which is 8 years ago now. Wow. And it's been a very good game. Now, there's various ways where you have to come into the game, which I'm double checking before, how to actually join the game nowadays. Uh, by the time when this is released, you'll probably get told how you do join us. If you want to join us, please do. And the way you need to get into the game is you just go into your Google and you type in, if we do it here, Manager Sim, and then you just click on the first one that comes up and you click on there and the game will load up. And there we go. We're on high zoom here, hence why the screen looks pretty huge. And then you create an account. Now, all the advice that, like the Getting Started Guide, which is a very good guide by Burnham, is up here. So you click on that and the forum opens. And here is all the rules and stuff like that, how to play the game. You have to log in with your login and password. So you need to log in with an account first. Click on that and it tells you here how to log in. And so if you follow all these instructions, and then you get into the game. So it's worth doing that if you want to do this. But obviously, I've got an account, so I will log into the game myself and show you all about what it looks like. So I will quickly log into my account. So I've got this account to show you first. So basically, the game has two game servers, the Phoenix game server and the Challenge 1 game server. Now, they operate by a process of time called ticks. Now, what is a tick? Basically, a tick is during the day, when a tick happens, time progresses. So during each game server has a different amount of ticks per day. So for instance, the Phoenix game server is 3 ticks a day, while the Challenge 1 game server is 6 ticks a day. So obviously Challenge 1 runs a lot faster than Phoenix. It depends how you want to play the game. If you're not going to be in the game for too often, then I'll suggest the 3 ticks a day so you don't miss much. If you're in the game frequently and you can check on the team on your PC and your mobile, you can play this on your mobile phone as well, then it's 6 ticks a day. So obviously, if you put a player for a transfer list, a player for instance, then he'll get sold quicker on Challenge 1 because the ticks happen more quickly, time happens more quickly on Challenge 1. While Phoenix, all the processes you do will take your time. So I've actually got sides in the Phoenix and Challenge 1. So we go to Challenge 1 and then let's go into my office. And I'm currently in France with the Lille OSC side. Now, when the game first started, when the server, restarted, it was back to players' names, more realistic players' names. But because this game server is going so quickly, we are actually at 2033 now. And I put this game into the retro series because this is the game world based in the early 2000s. So noticeable differences to what the game world is, real life is like nowadays, because the tournaments gives it away really. There we go. It's got, for instance, you notice it's got the Champions League, but this is the Champions League in its I think former format. So you've got Group One, Round Two, quarterfinals. But you notice there UEFA Cup is still there. Um, it's not the Europa League. It's actually the UEFA Cup, which is knockout rounds to the final. So that's good to see. Like we used to have the European Cup, of course, which is now the Champions League, UEFA Cup, which is for the teams that did not win their leagues, and then the Cup Winners' Cup, which was for the Cup winners. Cup Winners' Cup left many years ago, and now we've just got the Champions League and Europa League, and the I think there's a Challenge League under Europa League nowadays, so very confusing. But in this game, it's a lot more simpler. You've got the Champions League, you've got the UEFA Cup, and then got the Toto Cup. Do people remember what the Toto Cup was? And of course, we've got European Championship, but in this game, we don't play as nations, we just play as clubs. Now, this game world is vast. If you look at the map of Europe, it's only set in Europe currently. So we've got all the countries of Europe as it was in the early 2000s, which is near enough the same it is now. Um, and when you join, you become unemployed, and you start off as level one, and you can only join level one sides. Makes perfect sense. Then the more you progress with your level one side, you go up levels by going up levels simply by winning matches, winning leagues, uh, doing some giant killing because that offers a lot more manager. Your rating goes up even further. So for instance, if I show you my current rating there, you can see that I'm level 13, 12%. I've been in this game for quite a while as Lille's manager. Been Lille's manager actually when the game server started in 2018. That's not the real 2018 year. This was 2018 game time. So I think if someone can tell me how old this server is, I think it's about a year or two in real time old. So basically, you become a manager of a club, and I'm currently manager of Lille in France. And have to bear in mind this is an online browser game, so sometimes the loading up screens will take a while, and just like the old Spectrum games, and it's very complex sometimes. So it's worth looking at all those intro forums which Burnham's done, and also I did a beginner series of this game on my YouTube series, which is always worth looking into. Um, and basically, you start off when you join a club. You start off with the info screen telling you your manager's name, your academy ranking. There is youth academy in this. Average age of the team, size of your stadium, club capita, which is of course very important. Now, Lille are a level 7 side at the moment. I did when I first joined them, they were level 1. Of course, I won a couple of leagues and stuff like that. So they went up in reputation, which is the level rating, what's kind of officially called. So if we go back to France, and if we go to League 2 in France, now each country has not every country, I mean, has multiple leagues. Like the English league goes, I think, to, let's just check England. I think England's the biggest league, goes to League One. Well, Germany goes to the second division, France, second division, Spain, second division, Italy, just doing it very quickly here, second division, and then a couple of other countries actually go to second divisions as well. I think Poland could be, no, Poland's just one division. But there are so many clubs on offer, but again, you always start on level one. So let's go back to France this time, and let's see if we can find a level one side. No, belong a level two. I'm looking at the reputation here. This tells me if it's level one or level two. So here we go. Tours FC are a level one side. So if you join the game, for instance, in the Challenge 1, which again is 6 ticks, not 3 ticks, so this is a very fast-moving server, you become manager of tours. And then I'll explain what all these icons are, but these also tell you what you need to do, what you can select as well. So obviously players is kind of like the main screen. So it shows you all the players in that side, their position, their age, keeper rating. So you remember in a lot of the Spectrum games we've seen recently, it tells you like keeper rating, ability rating, very similar here. So of course, each ratings is from 0 to 100, 100 being world class, 0 being literally hopeless. And also, each player could have a little star next to them. The bigger the star means the more sponsorship that side gets, the more money revenue they get, and ticket sales and stuff like that. So, for instance, if in this tour side they've got two first team goalies, and this Ambrose is a better goalie than. Oh, sorry, Roland's a better goalie than Ambrose because his keeper rating's 80, while Ambrose is 78. You can actually click on keeper rating, and it tells you who are the best uh, rated players of that position. For instance, the two guys obviously will be top. So let's look at shot, for instance, which is shooting. So this tells you who are the best rated strikers at the moment. So for which actually, oh yeah, it does. There we go. So actually, best shooter is this 22-year-old Jacobson, but he is mostly a midfielder. Midfield, attack, left, right. So he can play in midfield, he can play in attack, left and right hand side. That's what basically it means. But their star player probably is this Ontario cap. So you can select each player, which is really good, and look at his stats and his main stats here, where they acquired him from, or if he was a youth player or former youth player, this would be blank because he's stayed at that same side for the rest of his career. His age, when his contracts, you can do contracts in this game. For instance, I got the approach to buy, approach to loan here because I'm Neil's manager, so I could actually buy him if I want, but probably they'll say no. This current side is managed by the AI, who are pretty clever. This is not an easy game to play, I must stress. That this is not like some of the Spectrum games, which are quite easy to play. It's quite a difficult management online browser game, but it's great fun. Great. A lot of people play this, and yeah, it's been very successful in the past, and hopefully it'll be successful again in the future. But anyway, let's explain some of these screenshots quickly. Again, this is more like a very quick version of how to play Manager Sim. If you want a more lengthy one, then read those forum posts that Burnham did, and also look back on my various Manager Sim videos. I've done plenty for you to have a look at and for you to enjoy yourselves. So we can see there's a lot of colorful icons here. So the first one is the info screen. So we're going back to my main screen because we're looking at my main side. And then the second screen is your players, which you can also get through this screen here. So these buttons here also apply to some of these buttons up here. This one, the pitch, obviously is the tactics screen. Now you can have various tactics and you can allocate your squads players to each position, for instance. So, for instance, on number 7, Gonzalez, because he does play midfield, attack, left, and centre. And if you click on the name there, it tells you also his ratings. You can see this guy is really, really good. He's got very good secondary ratings, which are these ratings here. So, this player is actually a very good player all round. And so obviously allocate your goalies to goalie, allocate all your defenders to defense, midfield, centers, which are these two over here. You've got midfield attack left, midfield attack center, midfield attack right. Then they choose strikers. And then you've got your tactics, which can tell your players where you want to go, move forward, go back. And then you've got your strategy. So for instance here, I won't show you the tactics screen because I want to keep my tactics quiet from people who might be watching this, other managers. So you can tell what you want to do after certain minutes, and it tells you there. And then that's the tactics screen, and then you save it into your little tactics box here, which is this icon here. Click on there, and it tells you all your tactics. So you can select multiple tactics if you want to. On the fixture list, you can put your tactics, allocate them to each game. So if you miss a game because you're busy doing something in real life, the computer will follow those tactics. Very clever, I think. So we'll see that in another screen in a minute. Here is the coaches. So you do get coaches, physios, scouts. You get everything in here. You can approach. There's a staff market as well as a transfer market where you can ask scouts, various coaches to come and join your side. So here you can select your coaches to do some orders. So let's change the orders for this guy. So coach players, click next, and then you can allocate, for instance, like some of these players were injured, hence why I'm just going to allocate their back to their training again. So I'm clicking all these little buttons here. This is probably the slowest way to do it because you can actually do it a lot quicker than this by just selecting these top buttons up here. But I'm doing it the slow way because I can. I'm going to do all these actually because it's worth doing. So this is defending skills. So obviously, I'm just going to allocate it to the defenders. And these little icon players here means these are youth players, by the way. So these players hopefully will develop into first teamers. Some do, some don't. When they reach a certain age, 18, then they will ask for a contract, and then it's up to you if you're going to keep them or you're not going to keep them. But sometimes that changes, because if you play youth players frequently in first team games as subs, for instance, or even first team players, they will ask for their contract a lot earlier, because basically they kind of figured out that you are playing them more. And so they're thinking, I could be potentially a first team player. Let's ask for a first team contract early. And then again, it's up to you if you want to put them into that side or not. Just nearly there. I'm doing offensive players. So this is just for strikers or midfield attackers. So I'm just allocating them here. So I'm just doing a bit of general housekeeping here. So I'll rather do it now. And then again, you've got physios. It's up to you how many physios you want in your team. Obviously, each physio, each scout, each coach has 4 wages, and that goes towards your money. So bear that in mind as well if you play it. And then scouts, you can get scouts to search other countries and see if they can find any wonder people out there. Yep. So the next icon here this is the fixture list I told you about. So we're in Lyon, we just started our league campaign. This is the tactics screen, so you can click on there, allocate your tactics onto each game in the future, update it, and then you can, if you want, like I'm here, I've done all my tactics for my league games using the same formation, stuff like that. Very useful. And then you've got newspaper. Yes, it's got even a mini newspaper, which I don't actually look too often at, but it's good if you've got a lot of humans in one league. It's always worth looking at. The next one is your hot list, which is not really being used much in this game. And then probably the most important screen, this is your mailbox. So you're getting mails from coaches, from various human managers as well, and also the match reports. Now, again, one big thing about Managersim is that using the ticks, when the game happens, you don't actually see the game happening, but you have the game. Well, you kind of do see the game happening if you want to, but when the tick happens, it comes up with, for instance, a match report like that. So you can see here my Lille side beat Reims 3-1. You click on the score there, and it tells you the actual score, what happened. So we won 3-1 there. But if you go into the fixtures list, for instance, if I just find it, and then click the blue icon, this white icon, you can see how often I don't use this. That gives you a replay of the game. So you can actually watch the replay of the game. If you don't want to know the score, obviously, so what you do is you go into this main screen, and then you just click on the side here, and then you watch the game, and then find out if you won or lost. So the icon's flashing here because this is my transfer list. I'll always get bids for my players, so this will always come active. But here, all your bids for buying players and sending contracts and staff all come in this screen. Then we've seen the map screen, then we'll dodge that screen, because that's the, if you want to search for, we're not going to dodge it actually. If you want to search for a certain player, you can click on that, the binoculars, and then we get various screens like who's currently playing, current rankings, Discord. Managersim's got its own Discord group, so if you want to join Discord, please do. And then we got the yeah, that's not used much anymore. And then we've got the main personal information list. So here we go. This is what I click in. So this is where if you want to go on holiday. If you want to resign, you can resign. Yeah, and then this is the quit button up here. So yeah. So I've been playing this game for many years, and it's been very enjoyable. And it's worth looking into. And then the final thing we're going to look at is these little options up here. Again, this is a very quick way of Managersim. If you want a more lengthy way, then please look at my Managersim series. I've done various series of the game, and also the Burnham forums. Very useful. So here you've got the Youth Academy. You can put money into the Youth Academy. The Youth Academy, if you want to know where they actually are shown, is when the game tells you. Again, it's on the server, so sometimes it will, there we go. This is the Youth Academy, so They start off as 16, 17, and they get up to 18 years old. And then, for instance, Rue is going to turn into a really good striker. He's got 96 shot already, and he's only 17 years old. He's kind of like my new wonder kid, and he's got very good secondary stats. I think he's going to be a star player, hence why he's already in my first team starter striker. Um, and yeah, his potential is going to be very good. These are potential plus or minuses what might happen in the future if I keep playing him or not. Could be +4, could go up to 100, but he might even go down, but not by very much though. And then we've got the young kid there, and then let's just go completely the other way. And Rudengara, he's been my striker for about 13, 14 years. He's now in his mid-30s, so of course all his stats are starting to go down now due to age. But if you look at history, you've got history. He's been with us since 2023, so 10 years in game, and he scored well over 200 goals for us. So each player, obviously, they've got their own little stat screen there of what they've done in the last couple of seasons and the history of the player. So it's very in depth, this game. So I'll leave you guys to look at those screens. And then obviously players can go transfer listed or loan listed. So transfer listed are represented by these red icons here. Loan listed are represented by blue. These icons here, which is kind of like a green yellowy, which means they are on, they can be sort of like taken away from you because they're on release fees, because there's certain players who are better, who are highly more are protected. So for instance here we've got two midfield left centres. Talisio is actually better than Bridge, so Talisio's contract is actually protected while Bridge is not, and that's only for a certain amount of players. I won't go into that detail because that's more like advanced Managersim. So let's quickly look at the transfer list. So let's go to the league table. So okay, economy is your bank balance. This is where all your banks, your income, your expenditure is. Stadiums, obviously stadium, which you can expand or you can raise your ticket prices. So let's quickly do that. So I'm a top League One side, so obviously I'm putting a lot of money into league and international games. But when you start off as a League One side, your ticket prices will probably be a lot lower in this, and you probably won't have the option to expand because there's no fan base there, but that will happen in time, depending how successful you get. Obviously, in this game, you can get sacked, so bear that in mind. Also, sacking happens if you don't go in the game after a certain amount of weeks, so bear that in mind as well. Transfers, obviously, this is the transfer list. Each country has one, and you can go in and mostly nowadays it's loan list, but for each country you have the leagues, and each league has their own little transfer list, so you can see if you can find any players and if you can afford them. Broad transfers basically means, because I'm in France, these are all the French players playing abroad at the moment, so you can click on that, and then you notice some of these are free, so it goes straight to contract, so that's free transfers. So obviously you just put in a contract and see if they accept it or not. Most of the time they will accept it, but it depends how much you're offering, how much money you can offer them. But you have to bear in mind how much money you're going to put in for these players, depending on how rich you are, how rich your side is. If your side's not very rich, then I would probably invest more into your youth academy probably. And then you've got tournaments, obviously your tournaments. So here you can look at the Champions League, UEFA Cup, Toto Cup. And if you look at your table, for instance, you see all these little icons here. Basically in France, as it's one of the big leagues, the top six side who places seventh and sixth go into the Toto. Sides who are fifth or third goes into UEFA Cup. And then the top two go into Champions League. But then if you skip to, say, a small country like Macedonia, or North Macedonia as it's now called, of course. Champions League, one place, UEFA Cup and Toto. And then if you go to Luxembourg, even smaller, you can see that no Luxembourg sides go into the Champions League. It's just UEFA Cup and Toto. So each country, the bigger the country is, the more places on offer. So for instance, in England, which is probably the biggest of the lot, there is 4 Champions League places, 2 UEFA Cup and 2 Toto. I'm just intrigued to see Germany now. Germany, it's 2-2-2, 2-2-1. And Spain, it's Spain, which is also very big, 4-2-2. And France, my French, it's 2 3-2. Slight difference there. And Italy should be quite big. Yes, it is 4-2-2. So actually, the French league, which I'm currently in, is actually the smallest of the big five, if that makes sense. Again, I'm talking pretty fast, so apologise for that. It's just there's a lot to get into this game because it's been around for such a long time. And then obviously stats. Basically, this is the retro bit I'm telling you about. I have to say this is probably the only time in this retro series I'm going to mention the Commodore word. So it's based on the Commodore 64 basics. So here you can look back on all the countries if you want to. So let's look at France, for instance, because I'm in France. It shows you what happened last season, and you can go really back to as far as you want to. So let's go see furthest we can go back to. I think it's season one. And there you go, season one. And you notice I wasn't even in season one. My Lille side, there they are. Yeah, I think I joined Lille in 2018, so I'm surprised my manager's not there. I'll have to go back and see my manager history, see where I first started. So I can do that right now, actually. So click on my name. Oh, was that Sudan? Ah, that's why. So let's go back. So where's Sudan? Sudan. There they are. Actually, that's me. My manager name's not there, but I managed them into the top league, and then the next season, I then took over at Lille, and we won the league. So there we go. So this is Managersim. Obviously, again, what you need to do is when you go into the game, look at all these forums. They're getting started. Create an account. I will confirm in the comments when this game is released if you need because this game is under Patreon at the moment. If you need a Patreon account to actually get access to this, I need to just confirm that because I'm slightly unsure nowadays. I am a patron to the game, so I do get in, but I just need to double check. So when you see this game actually released on my YouTube channel, I should be making a comment then how to get into the game. But you just log in with a login and password, put all your details in there, and then list all available games. Tells you all the games there. You can see how old this forum is because the game worlds are now Phoenix and Challenger 1. But it's definitely worth looking into. Again, even on the most oldest PCs, you can play this game pretty easily. And also, as I've been doing also, is that as I've been doing as well, I mean, is that you can play this game on your mobile phone. Now, in the old days, Managersim had its own little magazine. These magazines are still live. You can still look at this, and yeah, it's worth looking into. Managersim has its own Facebook page as well as its own Discord group. There's my link to my YouTube channel down there as well, which gives you another place to find all those Managersim videos. So there we go. That's Managersim in a very quick 30 minutes. So please come and join us if you want any more. If you want to ask any questions about Managersim, then please let me know in the comments. Again, if you do like these series of videos looking back at retro games, then please make a comment and please subscribe. It's always greatly appreciated. And next week's episode will be back to a Spectrum game, I promise. So thanks for this, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.